adapted.
My name is Matthew, and I shoot an old Fuji with old lenses, and these are their stories. This is the Olympus Zuiko 28mm f2. It was made in 1972, and it cost me about $180, not including the adapter. This is what the lens looks like on my Fuji X-T2. This is one of the smaller lenses, but the adapter pretty much doubles the size. This happens with most adapted lenses. Starting off with a little AM jaunt around my usual stomping grounds, I like to see the colors that the lens puts out. I use the Provia simulation for daylight. It's the standard for all Fujis, and I don't change any of the settings. Right away, I like the warm color palette. When I used to edit all my RAW files, this is pretty much how they would end up. Super bright and really warm. I do have my own recipe settings now, but what a good starting point to test these lenses. To test the low light performance, it was time to move inside some casinos on the Las Vegas Strip. For indoor and night shots, I used the Cinestill 800 recipe from Fuji X Weekly. It helps fix the white balance and works well with the neon. I try to keep my shutter speed at 250, so I have to rely on the ISO for some heavy lifting. That's when the fast f2 aperture is needed. The downside to this is focusing gets a lot harder, and this lens is picky. Every time I look back through photos from this lens, I missed a lot. This is 100% user error. I use the camera's focus peaking, but it can only help so much. Here's an example of the lens distortion. It's not bad, and it's pretty common. It can be fixed pretty easily in Lightroom, but my whole move right now is to avoid editing. Back to the Bellagio for some close-ups. I shot all of these wide open at f2 to see what the backgrounds look like. And that's when this lens looked the best. I got way more keepers than I did from the Pentax, and the focus issues I had for distant objects weren't there up close. Again, that's on me, but whatever. I did like this lens. The colors were right up my alley. Nice and warm and bright. My only issue every time I took this lens out was missing shots. So for focus, I give it a... It's a small lens, but the adapter doubles the size just like the Pentax. So for size, I give it a... There's a similar Fuji lens. It's slower and about twice the price, but has autofocus. I'd rather save the money. I miss shots with autofocus all the time anyway. So for price, I give it a... It's a really good lens. Is it worth the money? Yes. Am I keeping it? No. I really want to be able to shoot and be done. Minimal editing. The hunt for the best 28mm continues. See you next time on Your Adapted.